Did you have a question or you wanted to contribute something to the conversation?
No, actually, I don't think I'm qualified to talk about SEO. So, but I will have a question here. So, if you permit, I'm happy to go forward with the question.
Go ahead, Hasib.
So, my question is that a lot of time, like some keywords are not as, like not competitive, but at the same time, like, not when searching for it. So, I wonder if there's a tool where you can just say, hey, it's not worth it to do a SEO for this because no one is searching for it, and the cost to run an ad is cheaper. Like, is there something like that?
Brandon, would you like to respond to that?
I'm sorry, Hasib. Could you clarify? And before you do,
Brandon, I will rephrase that for you. So what Hasib is asking is that is there a way we can look? If we have a keyword, how do we find if this keyword really worth the effort or not? And he didn't say it, but something behind his question is that maybe the search volume and also the competition. So it's the potential plus versus because it's the cost benefit ratio. Let's put it like that.
Got it.
So in our SEO language, it's the search volume and the competition on SERP.
Yeah. Okay. Before I address this, I just want to say hello to a couple folks in the audience that I know, Tony and Justin. Obviously, I talked about Nisha, so hello. I just want to say hello because, frankly, something that, I was saying earlier about being a good person, like I will dole out, and, Nisha she can be a testament to this, and Justin and Tony is, if I like you, I will give you my life. Right. And so when you asked that question earlier, Farhan, I will do anything if Tony asks or Justin asks or Nisha asks, because, they've given me a lot in life, just being a good person and frankly, asking in a way that you talked about and being a humble person. Right. And so I just want to just hone in on that because I think that's very important. And I just want to make sure that they are recognized because they're just good souls. And, all the other people who I failed to recognize here today, maybe I haven't met you as well or haven't had as deep of a conversation. But when you do have that with me or vice versa, I think we'll remember and we'll be willing to help. So I just want to make sure I just hit that one home. But beyond that, with this question, Hasib, I get it because time is of essence, and time is one of the most valuable, commodities in life, right? And so you're always trying to figure out, like, what do I focus in on? Well, part of this is not a tool. And I'm sorry to say, but part of this is your gut. You can go and vet out search volume. And so if you truly, really want to know whether or not some search volume exists for a keyword, don't just rely on those volume statistics that Keyword Planner gives you. Use those as guidance, but then go and run an AdWords campaign and then truly see how much volume exists, because that's where the only place you'll actually see how much volume truly is there. And then on top of that, go and build out the right landing page for the keyword that you think is important. And then make sure that that page is actually optimized to the degree that you believe is actually effective, meaning like make sure that there's compelling information on that page. And then go test that keyword, okay, with that Google Ads campaign. All right, because once you do, then you can vet out, one, the volume, but two, whether or not people click through to it and transact with the CTA or whatever button that's on your page that you're trying to convert with, or your phone number, right? And you can prove that all out through that method, right? So that's number one. Number two is I get back to that gut. Why? Because there are certain businesses, and I can tell you very, very specifically one business that I actually run is a tutoring service. And, I know what parents think and I know what kids think, right? And so I know what they're looking for. And when I use my gut, and I didn't even use the Keyword Planner, I didn't use any specific tool, but I just used my gut. I can tell you specifically what I did, but what I can tell you is that I just went down this path making a lot of assumptions and then frankly using those assumptions and then building out the content, right? And the way I built the content was I actually took all the results and looked through them and then found there was some rich information, but they were fragmented. And I took all those fragmented pieces and I put them together in a single piece, just like journalists do, basically. Even though I didn't go to journalism school, I did what journalists do. And then I basically built the content, and then it started popping 3 months later. And then I'm number one in the featured snippet for these phrases, and I get thousands of searches organically, basically free, because of my gut. Right? And so I hear you on the tools. There are a few out there that I've seen historically. I don't keep track of all of them, but what I do know is that there's some that have competitive metrics. What they do is they call them opportunities, basically, and they give you all these different, components of why they're good low-hanging fruit opportunities, and then you can go and attack them. It depends on the individual vertical, I'll be honest, Hasib. So it really depends, but you can use some of these tools, and frankly, you can find them. I'll be honest, if you just Google the hell out of the internet, you can find them. And then what you do is you go and use their free trials and then see if they actually vet out opportunities for you. There's also lots of forums that actually advertise some of these programs or these tools. And there's also people out there, I would argue, you should just ask to find those tools. I don't rely on them, but at some point, maybe when I do get back down that path, I'll be happy to share that kind of information with you. But again, I'm pretty sure you can find the answer here. This is funny because, just yesterday I was in this investment room and I was asking them what are the most common questions, that they were getting addressed. And then we went back and forth and then talked about that. And then I said, hey, why don't you build an FAQ? And then they go, no. Why? Because you can just Google the answer. So I'm sorry to say, but some of these questions, and I don't mean to be please don't ask, but I would argue that question in particular you can probably Google.
And one thing I can probably add there is that if you the gut feeling is built based on your experience in that specific space. When you spend a lot of time in a specific space, that gut feeling is built. That's one thing. And second, if you really want to use a tool, so all of us SEOs, like any other space, we have our own ways of doing things, and that can be a bit different from each other. The foundation is pretty much the same, and it is no right and wrong answer. But what I basically do is I use tool like Hrefs. And that tool, when I put a keyword there, it will give me a search volume. It's very important, a quick disclaimer here, that search volume is not what Google suggested. It's by a third-party tool, Hrefs, or Moz, or any other. So it's a rough estimation. It gives you a rough idea. Don't religiously believe in that specific search volume. So that's one thing that could give you a rough idea that how many people are typically searching for that specific keyword on Google. So that's one thing you may want to have a look at it. That's one thing. For the competition, exactly like Brandon said, you can just put that keyword into Google and see what sort of websites are ranking there. Are these really top publications like Forbes or maybe a giant in that specific space? Or is it just small blogs out there? So that's the second thing. So that will give you a very rough idea of how the competition looks like for that specific keyword. And third thing is that when you are actually trying to rank on that keyword, my first step is always going to be just looking at all the pages or articles ranking for that specific keyword, putting them together, see what is already covered there, and starting with that, putting them together exactly like Brandon said. And then the second step, if you really want to go above and beyond, then just trying to add something new to that. So the moment, for example, if the keyword is organic dog food, you can just put that in Google and you can see the top 10 results, and then you can just put all the information together, and then you can add 20-30% more to that. So that's already going to be something that's much more than what's already out there. It would be pretty natural for Google to maybe bump you up in this search, and then later down the road, there are many other things that would be the last nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
So was that helpful, Hasib?
It is certainly my actual customer. If there's some easy tool you put in and say, hey, 2 people are searching for it. The difficulty level is a lot, but the ad costs $1,000. Just giving example. So okay, it makes sense, but so this kind of tool. So that's that's good information. Obviously, the hidden drive. My second question is: have you guys looked into where you've compared, like I said, if imagine you have best SEO tool, and there's an ad running for the same keyword, and there's a first page. Have you seen which one converts better? Like, is it paid traffic or is it like the first result? Is there like a rough statistic in the industry?
So I would answer that in a very, I guess, it's very vertical specific way. But before I do, I just want to highlight real quickly, that with your first question, still though, in terms of opportunity, what I would just highly recommend is when you're searching, read the first 3 results, and if the 3 results are not satisfactory, you just found an opportunity. You just found an opportunity because it's not satisfying everybody in the world, right? If you think that those answers suck, then go and build your own answer. So that's a little addition to that first question. Now, in terms of whether or not like Google Ads gets you higher CTR versus maybe the organic result, like the #1 result, it really depends on that SERP feature, right? Or that SERP, because some pages you'll see 4 ads, then you'll see an FAQ, and then you'll see a local pack or vice versa. And sometimes you'll see a knowledge panel. So it really is contingent on the fact that there are a lot of options or not, right? Because if the organic result is in the middle of the page, you better expect the click-through rate to be very small, right? But then again, if the organic result's at the top, where it's just one Google ad, and then it's the first organic result, then you're going to have a higher chance. I mean, statistically and historically, the first result organically, which when it used to be #1, used to have click-through rates of 40% or so, right? And I can show you just very specifically by looking in Search Console exactly what the CTR is for every single result. And then what I can do is then go into that page and see where it sits on that page. And then I can give you a full study or a set of results for any particular search. Now, I can tell you that for auto. I can tell you for Windows replacement. I can tell you for SEO agencies, right? And I can tell you for gambling, which I used to help one of the biggest online gambling companies in the whole world. I can tell you for a lot of different verticals that I've serviced, but I can't tell you that on many other verticals that I have not touched. I have worked on optometrists. I have worked on ophthalmologists. I've worked on a lot of different industries, but it really depends on that page, if that makes sense, Hasib. Because if it's sitting somewhere higher, then there's a higher chance it's going to reach that 40%. I've seen actually 60% click-through rates, to be frank. So it really depends.
Yeah, but I don't think I can recall of any study around that. There must be some study out there. But again, the study like these, which are on such a general topic, they are at some point, I personally believe, is somehow irrelevant because it depends a lot on the niche and the type of keyword. For example, one example I would give you is that we always talk about the search intent behind a keyword. And what I mean by that is, what are people exactly looking for when they are putting a specific, for example, if it's organic food, so if someone is putting organic food, is it that they are looking to buy organic food, or they are looking to have some information about organic food? So it's sometimes or one piece of the information is the modifier with that keyword. So if a keyword have like buy or cheap or alternate or something like that, it would be a different ball game versus a question type keyword. So maybe for more commercial type keywords or buyer intent keyword or keyword down in the funnel, that could have the sub feature. The sub would look totally different. The sub would look totally different versus information keyword. So Hasib, if you can just DM me your keyword, I will have a look at it and we'll get back to you on that. So, Brandon, we are coming to the end of the room. So, it's plug time. So, any Clubhouse room you would like to mention, any tool you have, any resources, are you available to work with some specific type of personas or something, and if you are willing to connect with people and things like that.
Sure. So my last words tonight, or today rather, depending on where you're at, are I'm currently in the process of building some training videos, and I've been building these training videos on our agency's YouTube channel. So my agency that I started in 2010 is called Seattle Organic SEO, and I've literally been creating videos for years. And these most recent videos are trying to help a lot of automotive service providers. We had three different folks on each marketing team. We had a paid ads person, we had an organic SEO person, and we had this website performance manager position. And this WPM now will have to become an SEO. So we made this conscious decision as a company to integrate these three capacities into one. And so I've been building these videos, and I decided to start with some of the low-hanging fruit type of opportunities to explain these concepts. And I created this series called 15-Minute Auto SEO. So if you guys want, I'm happy to share those videos. I do unlist these specific ones because they are proprietary videos for our company, but I can give you at least the links to them if you want them. I think I do a relatively okay job in explaining these things, because what I try to do is I try to build the PowerPoint deck or the Google slide deck as cleanly as possible and give lots of examples. And so if you are all interested, I'm happy to share those. Again, I just want to reiterate that here on Clubhouse, listening to Farhan or listening to people on, the SEO club, that we're being sponsored by here today, or that 8 a.m. Pacific Standard room that we focus on with the fundamentals, are literally the greatest opportunities. I mean, can you imagine if you went to Harvard and then you picked your most, your favorite professor, basically, and then that favorite professor every single week said, I will give you 1 to 3 hours and you can just ask anything you want. Well, that's given to us, but you have 5 professors every 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Clubhouse. And I'm just kind of shocked at how much value that we actually try to give. Not because we want anything, because most of the people on stage have full-time jobs and are too busy doing SEO for Netflix and these top properties. I mean, there's Condé Nast, there's New York Times. These are the biggest properties on the web. And these SEOs are literally just doling out advice and information that it would take you years, if not a lifetime, to learn. And they just dole it out, right? And you can tell from their heart that they're giving you genuine, straight up information that took them years to figure out themselves. So I would just highly recommend going to that room, not necessarily because I'm one of the main moderators, but because I'm just blown away. I mean, Farhan, can you confirm with me? Like, I learn a shit ton. And I've been in the industry for 17 years. I mean, I learn a ton from these other fantastic people, or I confirm, which is basically, honestly, part of the magic, right? Is confirming the information that you have in your head. And that helps us all succeed in life.
Yeah, I would kind of piggyback on what Brandon said, that what I love about that, the SU fundamental room that happens at 11 a.m. EST every Tuesday. What I love about that room is that we have typically like 5, 6, 7 top SEOs in one room together, and that room is pretty open for Q&As, and they would actually you can just raise your hand, come up on stage, ask your question, and you can have multiple answers for the same question. And for me, as being there on stage and co-moderating with people like Brandon, is that it helped me got connected with some of the top SEOs and moderators on Clubhouse that open new opportunities for us. And also, like, it's a different thing when you are actually reading a blog or you are actually watching a YouTube video versus when you are actually interacting with people real time, and you can have like different perspective of looking at things. When someone asks and I ask a question, come up on the stage and ask a question, I answer that, and then I have like 2 to 3 different perspective from different SEO professionals. That's something I haven't seen in my life 10, 12 years career anywhere else. So Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to the room. We are coming to the end of the room. It's weekend. We have relatively smaller audience today, but it was very, very interesting conversation with Brandon. Brandon, I really love the way you think and the way you do things. I really like that. So for everyone in the room, you are. This is Farhan. You are in the SEO room at the SEO Club. We had Brandon now with us. Follow him on Clubhouse. His Instagram and Twitter is connected with his Clubhouse profile. Follow him there. Reach out to him and ask questions. And I'm sure if although he's very busy, but if he get time, he would probably get back to you. And we would be back with another SEO chat room on Monday, 11 a.m. EST. Keep coming back. Reach out to me if you have any question or if you have any suggestion or if there's some SEO you would like here on stage. And talk soon. Thank you so much, Brandon, for coming. Thank you so much. Talk soon.
Yeah.
Everyone. Bye-bye, Brandon.
All right. Take care, Farhan. And thank you for the chance to speak to everybody. One last thing. I recorded as much as I could today, so I'll put it up on my Seattle Organic SEO YouTube channel for anybody who wants to listen in on any specific bit from today. So I'll send you the link a little later.
That would be great. Please share the link when it's published. Thank you so much, Brandon. Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.